there again, everyone. So I figured I'd take a quick break from everything I've been doing lately to introduce you to the next and soon-to-be most significant member of the band. Last time we talked about Leopold over there, who's hanging on the wall. This is a Theorbo, a kind of lute, which was especially popular in its heyday, kind of around 1600 through 1700. Now, is this instrument that old? No, definitely not. No, this is actually a very modern one. In fact, this one was made just for me. So the story is really simple. A young, innocent man goes to conservatory. He's got his kind of not great arch lute. He's got his awesome Renaissance lute. That's all he's got to his name. His merciful teacher, who apparently is a serial lute maker requester, I don't know what to call him exactly, but he apparently gets himself in line with every single maker in the lute world, and had too many that were ready to make him lute at the same time. He gave me one of the spots with this one amazing maker named Ivo Magherini. We sent him specifics for a certain kind of instrument we made. We wanted a Theorbo. At the time, I was looking into a lot of soloistic stuff. So we requested this, which is a 2/3 length Theorbo. For those of you who are familiar with Theorbos, you'll notice this one's actually not super long. It's only a 2/3 length one, because it makes it a lot nicer right here for the fingerboard. Things are closer together so you can actually play soloistic stuff. Now, unfortunately, there's usually a trade-off with those instruments. Usually they're quieter and not as able to fill the same role Theorbos usually are. So usually they're meant to be continuo powerhouses. We're supposed to be the bass in the back. This instrument turned out to be so great that it can actually still pull double duty, because its body is wonderful. It's got a lot of strength behind it still, and the bass is one hell of a powerhouse. I'll be happy to give you a few more close-up shots of it soon, just of its beautiful neck, Ivo's personal signature rose, and one last thing that I find so cool about lutes like this is just how you have to sort of traditionally learn how to put frets on the instrument itself. Traditionally, lutes use gut strings of very specific diameters for each fret, and you need to tie it on and burn it on in order to really secure it. So it's very old school, sometimes smells a little bit, but if you're careful, not a problem. In fact, if anybody is actually curious on how to do it, just let me know. I'll be happy to put up a video about that as well. Potential content, I guess. So a couple of things to know about the Theorbo, by the way. It's actually very different than a lot of other lutes in the entire lute family. Something you can say about lutes across the entire family is that they actually have 2 strings per course. So it'll be like, rather than having just one A string in the 3rd course, it'll be 2. But much like a guitar, this one is all single strung, so per string, 1. Just one at a time each time. Makes it real easy. The other weirdness about this instrument is that, like the Baroque guitar, its cousin instrument, it has what's called Reentrant Tuning. Reentrant tuning means that some of the strings are kind of tuned in a way you might think of as out of order. So again, I'm going to play that same pattern again, just going up from the 6th string up. You'll notice that the top 2 strings actually sounded a lot lower than the 3rd string. The 3rd string is actually the highest, tuned at a B, but the other 2 are actually tuned down an octave. There are actually 2 main reasons for this. The first is really that it allows you to really fill out this sort of baritone range. Again, remember this instrument, the Theorbo, was meant to be very much a continuo instrument, something that supported the harmony, gave you solid rhythm, and basically helped out the orchestra. The second reason is that it actually enables the soloist to enjoy what we call campanella, which is sort of like a bell-like technique. And it sounds something like this. It allows you to make the strings ring against each other, creating a kind of harp-like effect. So, as you may imagine with all these differences, that young innocent man I was talking about who hit conservatory and had no idea what was awaiting him, he had a lot to learn. And while I've actually been playing this instrument, relatively speaking, the least of any of the lutes, it's probably the one I've been playing the most, and by far gets me the most gigs. So if you're interested in actually finding a Theorbo yourself, just so you're aware, these are actually fairly hard to come by on the open market, because once they get on the market, they're straight off the market. A lot of guitarists, when they want to edge in on those juicy early music gigs, as we know they are, they tend to pick up the theorbo as quickly as they can. Likewise, lutenists also find them in demand because we need them as well. So without much ado, I'm sure you've seen some of the other videos where I've used this, but if you'd like to hear a little bit of a sample of perhaps what's upcoming in a video soon enough, stay tuned as we'll get some impromptu luting presently.